Hello, and welcome to the Late Night Show with Joey Maroon. Today is a very special episode. We are traveling back to the year 900, where we will be exploring the Viking era together. Where we will be joined by Leif Erikson and Harold Steinson. Now, Leif, I've heard that you are now the first European to reach the Americas.
It has been an honour to wear this title, and I believe it has just got to show what us Vikings are capable of. I believe the furthering of the Viking influence and exploration not only increases our capital through trading, but also increases development, solving overpopulation, creating communities, which creates jobs and growth. This new land should help solve overpopulation, helping Vikings find a place to live. This new development will allow many people to go seek their fortune, like Harold here.
Now I understand there's been some difficulties acquiring this land due to conflict with the natives.
Yes, our peaceful trading did not last, as we did encounter some skirmishes with the natives, which is why I went back to Greenland after just one winter. However, my brother Thorvald picked up where I left off to extend this great empire.
Today we are also joined by historian at the University of Sydney, Isaac Tanis, to tell us more on the history of the Vikings.
Hello Joey, I'm glad I can join you guys.
So, Isaac, what was religion like in the Viking era?
So in the Viking era, it was the fact that the Vikings had a polytheistic religion called paganism. This means that the Vikings believed in many gods, and these gods came from the many realms of Norse mythology. Many poetic editors provide a huge amount of information about the gods and their relationship with giants, men, and dwarfs. The most powerful god, the one-eyed Odin, the Allfather, god of warfare, justice, death, wisdom, and poetry.
Well, thanks for that insight on Viking rally.
But wait, you never said anything about the Christian God. We Vikings added the Christian God to our pagan religion as we travelled and pillaged. We settled alongside Christian neighbours and adopted many practices from these people.
Well, I'm sorry I missed out on that, I guess.
I also have evangelized Christianity wherever I go, ever since King Olaf I of Norway converted me to the religion.
What were the classes in the Viking era?
Well, there were three classes of Vikings: slaves, who did most of the work, freedmen, who were the middle class, and nobles, who were the rulers. These three basic social rankings were ancient, created by the god Heidmar, establishing the proper ordering of Norse activity. As the Viking Age progressed, the same feudalism was ordering societies in Europe nations filtered into the Norse lands, making the classes more rigid than they had been earlier. Nobles had to obey rules made by the Thing, a local assembly where freedmen could discuss these rules. But by 1050, powerful kings ruled most Viking lands. The Thing were no longer so important and their role gradually declined.
The life of us freemen was a fairly good life, as it was fairly rewarding and really had no downsides to it. We were always trading or crafting goods. We did this for a living, and was our way of earning money, so we could earn our spot in society. We also had slaves which we would buy with the money we earned. They would help us in our lives, and depending on their owner, were treated well or very badly. Some freedmen were also farmers or blacksmiths.
I have heard that people could rise up the social hierarchy. How was this possible?
Due to us Vikings living in a capitalist society, you could move up a class, as long as you had enough wealth. We drove people out of Scandinavia to go out and seek their fortune. The Viking social hierarchy was less rigid than the other medieval civilizations, where the proletarians would not have been able to improve their social status. In Viking society, proletarians could become freedmen if their labor generated enough income to buy their freedom. This gave Vikings more freedom than their European counterparts, as their social classes were more difficult. The capitalist society of Vikings allowed Vikings to travel to new lands and build a life where they can be financially sound, while satisfying the lust for battle.
That sounds like an older, more rigid version of modern-day society's social hierarchy. The hierarchy of capitalism. Thank you for watching today's show. Have a great evening.